Caroline Oakes offers a visual for this. You can do this with me. Some of you will, maybe some of you won't. But she says, take your hand and make it into a funnel. You can do it. And close your other eye and look through the funnel. So if I look over here, I can see Ray, but I can't see some of the people over here, like maybe Pete over on the other side. You lose some of your peripheral vision when you do this. That's how we often see. She says that to repent is partly to recognize that this is how we see much of the time, that our vision's obstructed in ways that we might not always be aware of. To repent is an invitation to see differently, to practice starting to maybe open the other eye or to look back a little bit from that funnel, the ways we usually think. Often the things that might be the obstructions are things like guilt or shame or things that block us from receiving the love of God. To repent is to turn from that and toward God's great love. It's to turn away from what draws us away from God and toward God who is always waiting for us. It's to turn away from fear and toward courage, away from despair and toward hope. To repent is to let God expand our mind to see differently. To see that God's kingdom is already close, that what we're seeking is not far off, that heaven is near. It's to know that God sees beyond that funnel, that God sees the whole picture even when we can't see it, and that following Jesus is about turning our perception as much as we can, just little at a time, to see more of God's picture, widening how we think, recognizing that the mind of Christ dwells in us, that we share it. So what does this actually look like? Caroline Oakes thinks that it's a small pattern that becomes a habit in our lives that maybe could take the form in something as simple as pausing a few times a day. We have the chance to return to God many times each day, to turn to God many times each day, in little moments like taking a breath, noticing what's occupying us or blocking our vision, reminding ourselves that God is close right now, in this moment. Of course, a small pattern like that has bigger echoes, meta echoes. With it comes a capacity to begin to see other people differently, to see others as beloved children of God just as we are, to let go of assumptions and biases that block us from seeing ourselves and others as God's children, as loved. And then to make sure that our actions as individuals and families and organizations and as a church line up with this perception of our shared belovedness as God's children.